Now, I've been playing RPGs for a long time. I found many games I enjoyed and even came back to every once in a while, some with amazing graphics, great world design, engaging combat, and so much more. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 is beaten in many of those categories, but it keeps pulling me back into its arms. One of the biggest parts about KOTOR 2 that I enjoy is that it isn't your average Star Wars story. Take the movies for example. The Jedi are good and the Sith are bad. It's a pretty simple concept to understand when looking at it. KOTOR 2 takes that idea and says, there's a lot more to it. That's what really hooks me. You play as the Exile. They aren't just any random hero who comes in to save the day. They lived and fought through the Mandalorian Wars, having to suffer the consequences of their actions. They also give you a reason to be weak in the early levels. You're blinded from the Force. As the Exile, you're tasked with finding the Jedi Masters. However, you can take this a different route. You, the Exile, hunt down the remaining Jedi Masters and absorb their energy, strengthening your own powers. The game gives you points towards your alignment, which change the very aspect of the gameplay you'll see. You start in a gray area and can go either up or down on the scale. Actions like murder, greed, or intending to inflict harm can reward you with dark side points. Actions like selflessness, heroism, and generosity can reward you with light side points. I say reward in either direction because the game is programmed to give you bonuses for the side you choose. So even if you are morally wrong or right, you aren't punished for doing so. I say you aren't punished, but there are consequences to your actions. Those consequences aren't only tied to the dark side either. This is where the "there's a lot more to it" kicks in. On Nar Shaddaa, the smuggler's moon, a man simply asks for some credits. Giving him credits, your teacher Kreia, more on her in a minute, tells you your action may have caused more harm than good. While being altruistic is good and all, it can come with a cost. Giving him credits robs him of his own self-reliance. On top of that, Nar Shaddaa is lawless. Someone like the beggar, who has now gotten a sum of credits, becomes a target to people who are less fortunate. It really makes you ask, are my actions truly good? Companions are a core part about this game. You can recruit 10 companions throughout your journey, all coming with depth of character. There's actually 12 total, but 2 decisions change the outcome of who you get. The first decision is whether you choose male or female at the beginning of the game, giving you either Brianna, a half Jedi, half Ishani warrior who follows the male protagonist, or Mikal, an unfinished Jedi who couldn't complete his training due to the war. He follows the female protagonist. The other decision depends on your alignment. You can either get Mira, a blaster-wielding demolitionist if you're on the light side, or you can get Hanhar, an honorless Wookiee if you're on the dark side. Let me list a couple of my favorite companions. Kreia was originally a Jedi Master who trained Revan before his fall. After his fall, she took the blame and was exiled from the Order, leading her to become a Sith Lord known as Darth Traya. Finding 2 students, she was eventually betrayed and cast out from her own academy. She stays with the Exile to manipulate him to reach her final goal, destroying the Force. She has a lot to unpack and is possibly one of the best character concepts I've ever seen. Atton Rand, a rogue and former Jedi hunter, hides his past from the Exile. He fought under Revan during the Mandalorian Wars, hated the Jedi for staying out of the war, joined Revan's Sith Empire, and then learned to hunt, torture, and kill Jedi. This all changed when he tried to break a Jedi's mind. The Jedi then opened his mind, revealing that he was actually Force sensitive. He killed her out of a mix of emotions: anger, confusion, and even love. He eventually deserted and met the Exile on the starting planet of Paragus. It's important to note that almost all your companions can be trained to be Jedi. Some are left out like droids, Hanhar, and Mandalore. This is done through an influence system. Depending on your actions, you can either gain or lose influence with your companions. Some enjoy you doing selfless acts, while some like showing your strength and power over people. Someone enjoys watching you kill people. Hello HK-47. The atmosphere of the game almost feels lonely. Instead of walking through bustling cities and prosperous lands, you're going through abandoned planets, ruined cities, and places of immense dismay. The game focuses on consequences, asking many questions. What does war actually do to people? What happened when someone loses their connection to the Force? What happens when the institutions that are supposed to protect people fail? Could someone actually move forward after everything they've lost? This actually fits the story perfectly. It's not about saving a perfect galaxy. It's about living in one where everything has already gone wrong. You, the Exile, are trying to find yourself in this galaxy. This ties into finding the Jedi Masters, so you could find answers about your connection to the Force and why you were exiled in the first place. This way, you can defend against the encroaching enemies. And yes, KOTOR 2 is unfinished. You can feel it's missing some things. Cut areas, incomplete storylines, weird bugs, and parts of the game that needed more depth. That doesn't stop me from coming back and loving it. Even after my hundreds of hours placed into this game, I still manage to find new things I didn't notice before. Whether it be my understanding of a character makes more sense, or looking at something in a different point of view. I don't just play KOTOR 2. I think about it. Underneath that Star Wars setting, it's really more about the people. People who are broken, who make mistakes, who are trying to figure out their beliefs, or who try to decide if their past defines them. That's why I love KOTOR 2, and it's my favorite RPG of all time. It's not because it's perfect, not because it has amazing graphics, and definitely not because of the slow and repetitive combat. It's because there are very few games that make me think about the story and characters long after I finish them. KOTOR 2 is special, and I hope you find it the same way. This is Tobi. I can say we've completed this quest.